So thank you, Allar, for having me and being with me on this live AMA chat on YouTube. Um, but before we go starting with our question and answers, I would like to suggest that we talk a little bit about both our backgrounds and how we got into crypto, etc. And I will start off with introducing myself. And then you have the time to introduce yourself.
Mhm.
Uh, and for all the people who are listening, later on, we will go through all the questions that are posted on the X tweet. It's also possible to post your questions in the Telegram group of CAC. We'll check that also. And we will also check the chat in the YouTube channel, so on this live feed. So there's three possibilities to have your questions asked, and we will check them all. So first off, I'm Henk. I'm a team member of Electra Protocol, and we're using the tool Community Engagement Center for XEP only. Um, this is our team. Uh, I'm living in the Netherlands. I'm 58 years old. Um, my first contact with crypto was in 2019 when a colleague of mine introduced me to technical analysis,
Mm.
and I didn't even know what the abbreviation TA stood for. Um, and he tried to explain me all these patterns and all these chart indicators. But after that talk, I was intrigued by it, and I bought some small portion of Bitcoin through a Lightbit, which doesn't exist anymore.
Mm.
Um, and then I started day trading, and that made me very nervous. So that was not a good thing for me. And then I detected a bot group on Telegram, and that bot group was led by Robert Bakker, and he was also a member of the Electra Protocol team. So that's how I learned about XEP and Electra Protocol. And I also joined the Telegram group, and it got more and more intense. And now I'm one of the moderators of that Telegram group with over 4,000 members. Um, so yeah, it's a tedious job to keep the spammers out.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm also behind the scenes involved in the team meetings, and I do a lot of graphics uh, for the tweets that are handed out by other team members.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, for the rest, I'm not a programmer. I do have an IT related job. I'm a consultant for IT business. Um, And through the Telegram group of Electra Protocol, I got to learn Allar.
Mhm.
Well, Allar, uh, introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Okay, so hello everybody, and awesome introduction, Henk. Thank you for that. I'm Allar. I'm from actually I'm from Estonia. I'm not sure if anybody's heard about us here. It's a really small country, uh, but actually, like as you were talking about your how to say how you got into the crypto field, uh, there were lots of topics that actually are really familiar, but to go back to my experience, actually in 2013 I I was playing video games, and I had a PC that had quite okay-ish graphics card, and I started mining some Bitcoin and Litecoin and some random. I remember there was this. I remember this one. It was barbecue coin. I don't know who invented it, where it came. I remember it was really easy to mine. So I did some mining back then. Bitcoin was, I think it was, when I started, it was like $50 or something. Now it's 60,000, yeah. But everything I mined back then, well, I sold it and basically got back my electricity bill. So it was basically even. And after that, I had a long break and returned in 2017. Then I did those things that you mentioned. I did some day trading. Well, it was more like gambling. I was buying some stuff and selling and understanding. I don't understand anything. Looking into those charts, trying to read the candles. And yeah, then I basically, this was the time when I was like becoming active in some communities, seeing how they do those internal bounties. Basically, this is how the CEC platform started. From that, I would say, and yeah, now I'm here. Don't do day trading at all. I say to everyone, better to just put something in crypto every month, let's say for 25 euros or whatever you feel comfortable with, and just keep stacking up them until you have a reason to either sell it, take it out. You have some kind of purpose for using the funds if you have them. If not, yeah. So, and my background, I've been in IT actually over 8 years. I started as a quality assurance engineer, then worked as a developer, and currently I'm development team manager. So have seen different positions, different perspectives on software development, and yeah, this CEC platform is kind of hobby project. So we'll see how that develops. So yeah, that's basically brief history from my end.
Yeah, very nice introduction. Thank you, Allar. Well, as I promised, we'll start with the questions, and I will start with my first question, and that is, where and when did you come up with the initial idea for the CEC bot?
Well, as I already briefly mentioned, it was like when I was becoming more active in those growing communities that were creating their bounties. And I remember I had a Twitter account and doing those tasks, and one project I remember specifically, they had this Bitcoin talk thread where you had to post all your tweets that you made about their project, and then they occasionally check that has the people actually completed the tasks, and then if you were lucky you got some rewards, and most of the times those rewards never came because it was too much manual work, and like this felt wrong to me. And actually, yeah, this is why I chose to. Okay, but of course this happened like I started working on it like 2020, I think, yeah, or something like. But yeah, this was my like incentive to actually. I saw how cumbersome or like it was a lot of manual work to get some results.
So you noticed the idea was good, but the performance of how they executed it was poor.
Mm-hmm.
So you thought, I can do that better.
Yeah, basically. Well, automating would like give better incentive for people to do them. Otherwise, you only get those die-hard people who either are really believing in your project and doing the tasks because that they want those small amounts of rewards. And I thought maybe automating it would get more people on it.
Mm-hmm. Is that also what inspired you to start CEC? So to inspire people to make bounties and share bounties?
Yeah, and actually, when I started working in IT, I decided to go to university and study IT as well. And for the university, I had to actually write the thesis, and I decided to do it. I don't recall the exact name of it, but basically how an application to incentivize like people for like engaging on social media can like boost the content.
Mm-hmm.
So basically this gave me this final push that okay, I have an idea, I have a need, and I think I can do something better, basically, or improve everybody's quality of life, or like make the like bounty hunters' lives easier, and also those who monitor these. So
exactly.
yeah. So this was the opportunity, and yeah.
Yeah. This also almost answers my next questions that I had, because that is, I was trying to ask you what gap in the market are you aiming to fill, but you are definitely
basically
kind of gave that away already.
well, actually there is quite a lot of like competition if you look around, but I'd say with CSE we still in kind of a niche offering. There is this like great bot that posts messages in the groups and like says that okay, we need to collect some retweets, likes, replies, whatever, and they give the users who complete them give some experience points. And I would say this is one of the biggest like differentiating points for CEC is that we actually give out the rewards right away. Like you don't have to wait until you get whatever amount of experience or whatever you are collecting, but you will get the tokens, and everything will be like automated and fast. At least this is the idea, of course. There are occasions when things aren't that fast, and don't work as expected.
Yeah, I think we'll come back to that later when we handle the X tweets questions. And for now, let's stay in the present. Can you explain the core services that CEC offers? Of course, there's the possibilities for X tweets, but also there are also other possibilities. Can you explain some more about that?
The focus from the start was on Twitter. Well, now it's X, which I still don't really accept.
You still refer to it as Twitter?
Yeah. Well, everybody knows it's Twitter. If you say it's some X somewhere, well, I'm still getting used to it. But yeah, from the start.
Let's agree on X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with it. Like, well, I started when I first implemented it. It's been like I started working on it like 4 years ago, actually, or close to that. And then it was Twitter. Twitter was free. The APIs, you could have really a lot of like requests. So it seemed to be the place to be, like also the crypto Twitter. So as we are focused on the crypto space at the moment, at least. So offering services for Twitter is, or X, is the main thing, and besides that, we have also some tasks for Telegram, and at one point tried something with LinkedIn, but that did not work out. But it's still there. Everybody can use it. And those like different services that we currently have that are focused on X, formerly known as Twitter, is that you can do those like different bounties manually, set them up like for likes, retweets, replies, quote tweets, even we have those like create original content, bounty tasks, and then one of the like latest addition is this that you can actually automate this bounty creation process, that you can order as many likes, retweets and replies to your posts as you see fit, and currently, well, of course there is this side part of the CEC platform, or the bot, that you can actually use it in your group to do the regular like tips and rains and floods, and like try to drive the community's activity in your groups in Telegram, and actually we are also on Discord. I don't know how many people know that we have some people doing tasks there. But mainly on Telegram.
Yeah.
Long answer.
Yeah, that's okay. I like it. Well, I've seen sometimes Discord links, so I've studied in the documentation many times, so I've seen it go by, but it is not on top of my mind when I think of CEC that Discord is also possible. But yeah, that's good to know. people like Electra Protocol, we saw the benefit of it, but how would you explain um, your services being beneficial to the cryptocurrency business?
Okay. Well, as I understand, well, projects, uh, especially like starting out projects, need to have their audience. They need to have their community, and well, the initial problem is that okay, you have your friends who will hopefully either believe you or believe in you and back you up and come and support you that way. And this way you can like try to build up the community, but with those CEC bounties, I see that projects can already like we offer this CEC community basically who can um, join those projects as well and they're like expand their communities and boost their like currently mostly on Twitter or X content, give give replies to the posts and make them more visible. Like I have tried it on my like own personal account as well in the past, like seeing how big of a difference the CEC platform actually makes for the project's visibility. And I remember like the last test I did was that if I made the post under my account and it wasn't boosted, it got like around 50 impressions or views. But after boosting it with CC, it went over 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So it really made a difference. In that sense, the message got to more people.
Right. More exposure.
Yeah. So this is, I would say, this is the main benefit of using the platform. You can actually boost visibility with it.
Yeah.
And I would even say it works better than just having those bot accounts that you can buy, and like there are services that offer these as well. But for me it feels more natural to use real people.
Yes. Well, it's actually real people that like and execute the tasks. So it's not bot generated. It is actual people that perform the tasks. So it's proven benefit is more exposure, better exposure, better quality, I think.
Yeah,
That's
very
great.
nicely summed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go a little back in time, and when you were working on the prototype before you got live with the actual version. When did you finish the working prototype?
Well, before I actually started working on the CEC, well, my first attempt was like I did simple like Tipbot just to understand how it works. I use Python there, and actually CEC platform is running mostly on Java. If there are software engineers, maybe they care. If not, then well, some trivia. And actually, I went Well, yeah, the first version went live on funny date, 1st of April 2021.
April Fools.
And actually, when the platform got 2 years old, we also made a post about how many millions of users we have, just adding some zeros. So made use of this interesting date. The reason why this date actually is that this is again flashback to university times. My thesis due date was, I think, in May. So to have something to analyze, I wanted to get the system out to the users to see how it works. And this is why, well, I wanted to get it out there as fast as possible, and cut it out on 1st of April 2021.
Okay. And then the prototype was just tipping bot, or?
Actually, the first iteration, I think it already had the bounty on it.
Okay. So you already included the Twitter functionality.
Yeah, Twitter was already there. Well, I'm not sure if it is correct to call this prototype. Well, I was playing with the test version since I'd say maybe from January already, but to get first real users except basically me and a few friends. I had few friends who helped me out with testing and seeing some how to say, testing the edge cases to see if there isn't any weird behaviors. But to get to the public, yeah, this was the 1st of April, and there was already the Twitter integration present there. So
cool. Yeah. So you've been around quite a while already.
Yeah. My hair has gotten lot thinner in that time.
Yeah. Well, you're still not gray, so that's good. So, and what exactly inspired you to develop it further? And maybe you can take us with you about your ultimate goal or dream for CEC. What's your view on the future for CEC?
Well, actually, as I saw that first I got an A for my thesis, of course. I was able to prove that the system actually works and is beneficial. If someone wants to read the thesis, I can share the link. But after that, I thought, okay, I have everything running. Back then, Twitter was free. I only had to pay hosting fee, which was around 12 euros per month. I thought, okay, let it tick, and I'll do some adjustments and let it run. Back then, well, I didn't have those big goals, or I had some ideas, okay, that I actually want to integrate some more stuff to it, keep working on it, but for now, I would say the big goal is to actually make it, well, I think with this year, the system is actually self-sustaining, so it's already able to pay for itself. Of course, my time isn't actually getting how to say.
You're still working as a volunteer.
Yeah, it's for me. It's still a hobby project. Yeah, but the goal is actually with also. Otherwise, I guess we wouldn't be having this chat. Is to actually build it, grow it, and make it possible for me to focus on continuing development as like full-time job. So I can, have more time with my family and have more time to focus on improving the services and keep building it to make it even better.
Yeah. So you really want to grow it into a full-time professional business.
Yeah. And that is the dream.
That's your ultimate dream. Yeah. Excellent. Great to hear. Well, that's a nice future sketch. And well, if we consider the current features, because if you're going to grow, then we'll might expect more. But for now, on the current set of possibility within the CEC bot, what is the future that you're most proud of?
Well, overall, of course, like the whole thing that it even works.
Yeah,
the automation part, well, which is essential. But actually, from my perspective, what I'm most proud of, I think, is this this first step. Users are automatically and immediately, most of the cases, rewarded. They can actually withdraw their funds, and they can withdraw without the need of depositing anything to the system. They can, in a way, convert the funds that they have to be used for the withdrawal fee. And I would say this was one of the more like complicated tasks to handle, and I think this is vital for growing and to have users who actually who how to say it, who want to make some money for themselves. And I would say this is one of the biggest achievements. At least for me, I feel it is and of course with the Electra Protocol there isn't an issue should the user be using some different currency for paying for the withdrawal, and actually with those I would say native coins, currencies, you actually don't have any other option to pay in the native. But for tokens, this is really valuable. Let's say you're on Binance chain, you want to withdraw the USD, but you don't have any Binance coins, tokens. So you can actually pay the fee in USD, and it's really that simple.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I was expecting maybe a function that you had written in 5 minutes, but
those get how to say. Things that are written in 5 minutes will need to be fixed in Fixing these will take more than, I don't know, 5 hours.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tedious job, and you have to be very, very careful. So I totally
Yeah.
understand that. And even a small dot or a small comma can make a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, can you give us some insight on the usage of CAC? I mean, for instance, what is the most used feature?
Well, I think at the moment, uh, I have to say, um, I I haven't tracked any of the rains and dips and floods, because
Hmm.
most likely the rains are something that is used the most. Although, like mm, looking at the numbers, mm, we currently have over mm, 20 bounties per day, and mm, but these aren't. Well, these bounties are mostly made automatically. So in that
Hmm.
sense, the most used. I'm not sure if it is correct to call it most used function, because actually this automation is used by, I think, like close to 10 accounts. So it's not actually a lot, but it's already generating quite a lot of tasks or like content.
Okay. A
Uh,
lot of bounties.
yeah,
A lot of bounties are generated by 10
10
accounts.
accounts basically who are
Okay.
like using the automation. They are posting their content. This gets boosted, and through that bounties are created. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
uh,
Yeah.
one can only imagine what would happen if there were, like, let's say 100 accounts, yeah, that would use this automation. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how it would scale.
Then, uh, then we will be busy in Telegram.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see
Yeah.
some
That.
users actually
That.
making some money for themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also interesting to see if we can keep up with all that because you have so
Yeah.
many coins. So, do you have? So this is really interesting to me. Do you have any other interesting
Numbers.
statistics?
Oh, uh, last I checked, uh, well, how the system currently works is that, let's say, we have this news channel. I hope everybody's subscribed there and seeing all
Hmm.
the updates there. If I post something there, then those messages are actually automatically pushed to close to 4,000 users.
Oh wow.
And this is quite a huge number compared to those who get the bounty messages. So there are
Hmm.
different segments. Those who have, like, basically those 4,000 users are those who have started the bounty bot.
Hmm.
Um, they have been registered by the system, and they are like keeping it active, or basically they haven't blocked it
Hmm.
on their end. So
Yes.
these are the users that get those news updates. And
Hmm.
then we have a different segment. It's around 600 users who get those bounty notifications. Why
Yeah.
there is such a huge gap, like close to 3,500, is that those around 600 users, um, the system checks if they have been active in the bot in the past 7 days.
Hmm.
And if I now remember correctly, it also checks that they have linked their Twitter. So it is pushing like the bounty messages are more like targeted. So I know the system knows that these users are interested in bounties, so it like pushes more to them.
Yeah. So the messages are only pushed to active users, so to speak.
Yeah. And actually users can also like disable those bounty messages. So then the system also doesn't push to them, even if they are active. Maybe by mistake, maybe by intention. Well, I don't know why people disable. Of course, I have disabled them as well.
Yeah, obviously. And so do you know approximately how many floods or rains there are in a month, or don't you do any? You don't keep track.
This I thought about it. Well, this is one of those decisions made in the beginning. Maybe I should reevaluate it, but I decided that okay, there will be a lot. There will the amount of transactions doesn't seem well. It doesn't seem important enough to collect this data. It would be interesting to see the stats, but I don't have them. And yeah, but one interesting detail maybe is that what I have checked is unique users per day who go and claim or do the tasks. It's like recently been close to 250. So almost half of those who get the message go and do it. It's like in a percentage, it's like really high, I would say. This is
turnout from 50%.
Yeah. Close to 50. Well, let's go higher with the numbers.
Yeah.
And
over 50% is responding to those messages. So that's great.
So, and another interesting number maybe. Well, it's up to everyone to judge if it is interesting or not. But the highest number of claims per day at one point was like 4,500. Like it is basically counting all the users and all their like task completions in a day.
Right.
Also quite a nice number.
Yeah. So your database on the back end is getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah, it's growing, and I'm thinking about switching it out for something different.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, with your plans of becoming more professional, that those statistics are getting more and more interesting, of course. Yeah, very nice. Well, I've got plenty of other questions prepared, so let's go to the next question. Currently, you now support 35 tokens or coins. Yeah. Where's the end? Can we expect more?
Currently, how to say, it's been, I guess the market is somewhat unpredictable at the moment. Haven't had any new projects interested in integrations, but I definitely hope there will be a lot more who will be wanting to integrate and want to start boosting their content, because it's visible that the system works, and the more projects, the more communities, the more effective it gets, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And can you share some success stories or a case study from a client who have used CEC services?
Maybe. Ah, I just got the notification that there is still this echo issue, which is interesting. But
Yeah, well, we are aware of the echo, but we'll hopefully can fix that next AMA session.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's somewhat unexpected. Yeah. Hopefully it will get. Yeah, it will get fixed. But now my thought
went wandering, and sorry, I'm just checking some if I have a quick fix, but I thought maybe there is something more I can do.
But
But
okay.
okay.
To your
To your
question,
question,
case study. Well,
Well,
I have to say I haven't done like a thorough analysis, but again, like what I brought out before is that with my own personal account, I saw that using the platform made a tremendous like difference in the amount of impressions or views that my content got. And actually I'm seeing the same with both the Electra Protocol like content and actually those other projects that are using let's say USD or Litecoin to boost their content, getting followers for their accounts, and also like the latest active project on the system, the Willy Bam Bam. Like it's visible that their content is getting more attention, getting more impressions, more views, and hopefully this is what they want, and they are actually happy with the service.
Yeah, I noticed that they were pushing out a lot of tweets lately. Yeah. Okay. How does CEC help new crypto projects gain visibility? Because it's a competitive market, so what can CEC do to make them stand out?
I think the main difference, let's say, again, like to compare with the competition or like who are dealing with something similar that we are, let's say the raid bot, or there was this bag bot doing something similar. The CEC platform is, as the name says, community engagement through like joining or integrating your project. You are also growing your own community, getting people involved in your project. Let's say you are starting out, you have only, let's say, a handful of people on your Telegram, on your Discord, following your X account. But through the CEC, well, you can first grow your followers, first grow your Telegram groups, have more people there, reward your community members with your like project tokens if you have it. If not, you can use the existing ones. There are like also like it's not mandatory to get integrated. You can use the system even if you don't have your own token or coin listed. So
exactly. Yeah. All right. Um, there sometimes you hear about rug pulls or even criminal organizations having fake tokens. How do you ensure the legitimacy and the security of the project that you are promoting on CEC?
actually, this has been something I have been, well, in the past I have put more thought into. Uh, it's somewhat complicated topic, mm, but for myself, for now, I have uh, approached it in a way that first, if I see any value that the project is actually creating, first, like for me, do I see that there is some mean behind it that is actually working, or there is some actual mm, problem that they are trying to solve. This is like one of the parts. Of course, I can't really leave out the part that I or like the goal is to actually grow the system, grow it
Mhm.
through those integrations, adding new projects, getting them active, creating those tasks to actually uh, keep the existing users um, getting those new tasks.
Mhm.
So there is this fine balance between quality and quantity. Yeah, I
I
would
understand.
say most of the focus for now is on quantity,
Mhm.
not so much on quality. But that doesn't mean there isn't any quality control. But I would say that as the system grows, as it matures, then, well, as with every project, the criterias getting listed
Mhm.
gets uh, more demanding, I would say.
Yes, but if I read between the lines, you do perform some kind of a risk assessment on each coin that is accessing on your system
Yeah, yeah.
and joining the community. Yeah.
And definitely from, especially from business perspective, let's say we have some new projects that have their own token, then from business perspective they can't pay any of the fees in their own token because it might lose or it might not even get any value. So
Hmm.
from business perspective, they can't use the system if they only feed it their own token that might not have any worth. So
Okay. Yeah.
just some background.
Yeah. That's great. Can you tell us a little bit more uh, on the partnership opportunities?
Hmm. Well, throughout the CSC existence, we have actually, mm, how to say, considered different, like not only this integration of the project to the system, like adding their token or their coin to the platform, but doing some more collaboration. And actually, one of the ideas is like this is our first attempt at doing this Ask Me Anything session,
Hmm.
to actually offer those kinds of services as well, and to maybe, if, how to say, be more actively supporting whatever the projects are doing. But currently there isn't any this, how to say, portfolio that okay, we offer you partnership and it will entail this and this and this. This doesn't exist at the moment. Currently it's more like, okay, let's talk. You want to have some extra support somewhere. We can discuss and see what the options are, basically.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. At Electra Protocol, we use a special version of the community bot. It's what we call a white labeled version. And that version is only supporting one coin. It's the accept coin. And what conditions apply to a new Telegram group with a token of their own or a coin of their own, and they want also to be able to do that. Is that possible, or how difficult is it?
Well, actually, if I remember correctly, we have currently 4 or 5 those white label bots, actually.
Okay.
And the main condition is that you have the either the token that you really want. Well, people can come to me and say that, okay, I want to have white label bot for my project. I don't deal with actually don't have any my own token, but let's say I want to have a USD there. This could be also an option. So there isn't really like how to say restricting criteria there.
Okay.
It's up to those projects to come and chat and discuss it, and actually with Electra Protocol in mind. Electra Protocol has this awesome omnicep platform
tokens.
And with that there are the tokens also possible on Electra Protocol chain. And it's possible to have more than one currency available on the white label bot as well, actually.
Okay.
So at one point, if I manage to implement the omnicep wallet to the system, then it will be possible to actually have those tokens available for the white label bot, let's say, if it's so chosen. And this is currently possible with all the available tokens. You can have your own Binance chain bot that only has the Binance chain tokens on it.
Nice. Yeah.
So
there's also it's also already scalable.
Yeah, there are some options there. And yeah.
Interesting. So, if anybody from any other coin is listening or attending this later on YouTube, then go contact with Allar, and then he will make a special white labeled version for you in your own token or coin. Very interesting. Thank you. I've seen it on X as well, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. What are your future plans for CEC?
Well, there are like a lot of ideas. There's difficult to choose. I know that there have been a lot of interest in having this swap feature to, let's say, do some currency swaps between different tokens. There there was one excellent idea, if I remember correctly, that you suggested to have those, how to say, group-specific missions, tasks that will be basically as a when user sets it up, it's possible to range some specific amount based on the engagements some tweet or like post gets. Then also integrating some large language models, ChatGPT, for let's say generating some content for users to use in their posts. Although this would require quite a lot of work, but it felt like a good idea, at least on paper.
That's interesting.
What else to bring out? Some ideas regarding like the current, as you are using Electra Protocol's coin CEP or XEP SEP, then you don't have this issue that actually token users have. Let's say you want to use USD on the platform to pay for some fees or like create bounties, or just use it on the system. To deposit it on the platform, users need to go through the binding process, basically give a signature to a specific message, and this way they basically identify their wallet and say that okay, this belongs to this user, and then they deposit the tokens, and this way it is like connected with the user who is doing the deposit. So this I think could be improved.
Yeah, also a lot of future plans.
Yeah. There are more ideas. Well, of course, expanding the whole system. But yeah.
So that brings me to the next question. Well, you already answered it a little bit. But how do you see your company evolving in the next years? Are you going to hire staff to write the code yourself, and you'll be a technical director, or?
This getting the additional developers, I don't currently see happening anytime soon. But who knows? Maybe in 5 years.
And in the next few years, yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right.
But currently we actually have a few admins. Shout out to Seven and Critic, who are helping out in our main group, making sure everybody is happy, getting their support.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, by the way. So yeah.
So they help a lot, and I consider them part of the team. But in the sense of growing, like company-wise, well, I actually have this kind of shadow partner who has been helping out with some of the ideas, but mostly on like idea level. I discuss the topics. But yeah, well, the idea is that one day I can focus more on development myself. Currently, it's like maybe 1 hour a day or so, like on average, I spend on development. But yeah, I'm not sure what to add there.
No, that's fair enough. Fair enough. It's a good answer. Um, well, the trends in the crypto industry are constantly moving and rapidly changing. And what strategy do you use to stay ahead of all this? And you said it earlier as well, there's a fierce competition. There are more bots like this, so how do you keep ahead?
Well, I think the thing that at least I think to myself is that I focus on what I'm doing. I also like check what others are doing, and if I see that they are doing something similar, then I do this calculation: are they doing something differently? And if they are, would it be something that would benefit the CEC platform as well? Or let's say they are doing something similar, but like I said, like how to say, if I see that at least for me they are enough different, let's say they don't provide those instant rewards, then I think okay, I don't need to worry about them. I'm still focusing on delivering this how to say better user experience for those users that are using the system. So this for me is enough. If I see that the CEC platform users are in a better place than, let's say, the competition users, at least in my mind, are. So
yeah,
and
so you keep an eye on the competition while still focusing on your own course.
Yeah.
Is that a correct summary?
Yeah, most likely it's not how to say extensive answer. But yeah, I'm just mostly focusing on what I'm doing and what the platform is.
Yeah,
Is capable.
Yeah. Okay, but you're not losing sight of the competition, and that's great, I think. Then a very practical question: do you have a roadmap that we can all see?
Short answer: no.
Oh, I didn't see it on the website, so no.
I actually have thought about like making it visible. I have a Trello board. It has close to 20 items on it.
Okay.
One of those items is integrating Omnixet. But there are like different priorities, and as time passes, I want to like move stuff around there to focus on the most important stuff. Let's say I discover something new that I see, okay, this is beneficial, I will focus on that instead of, let's say, if I had a set roadmap, I would like kind of follow it.
Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah. If once you publish your roadmap, you're kind of stuck to it. So, and then you will have to disappoint people if you shuffle things around or give other priorities. I totally understand that. Yeah.
It would make sense if there were like shareholders or like some different structure, but at the moment, as I said, I currently have this shadow partner and myself, and most of the like decision, basically all the decisions I make myself after like doing some consulting, either with Critic and 27, or with my partner, or just thinking and discussing with my friends, like whoever is there.
Or with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have given lots of good ideas and features to implement, and how to improve the system.
Well, I'm a CEC enthusiast, so yeah.
Awesome.
And you already hinted on it, but the next question is, will we be able to exchange tokens within the bot? But you already kind of answered that as a possible future feature.
It's still on the like Trello board, yeah.
Exactly.
I haven't scrapped the idea, although there is
might
this
be technically challenging.
Well, yes, of course. But there is also the side of it, like, is it really needed? Is it really important? I understand, again, like from users' perspective, let's say they're earning USD and they would actually want SEP, yeah? Then it would be really convenient to swap it.
Yeah.
But of course, there is this technical part. If there was swap pairs between everything, this would be quite difficult, I think. Yeah. Actually, I noticed that my earbuds just died. It's been a long session. And now the question is, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Will there be airdrops possible in the future?
Before I answer this, I'm wondering if this could have been the cause of the echo. But okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, repeat the question.
The question is, will there be airdrops possible in the future?
Yeah, I would say like in the current state, the way that the system is built, all those tasks kind of are airdrops. It just has an additional requirement before you get it. But everyone who completes the task basically gets an airdrop. Of course, a real airdrop is something different, yeah. With those tokens, the current system is, well, in my opinion or understanding, an airdrop point is that you get your tokens spread out to as many people as possible. And with tokens you also have those unique holders. When someone makes a bounty on the CEC platform, then actually there will be one holder in the like blockchain level. It will not create those like hundreds of different new addresses that will be holding or keeping the tokens. So in that sense, a real airdrop on CEC platform would require some extensive work on the back end to actually distribute those tokens. Well, if I use or if my understanding about the meaning of the airdrop or the purpose of the airdrop is like correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
depends on your definition of airdrop.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I agree with you. If you flood everybody with your token or coin, then it's basically an airdrop.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. At the moment, I think X, formerly Twitter, is the only option to create bounty hunts on. Will it be possible to use other platforms like Instagram or Facebook or Twitch also as an option? Is that doable? Is that
it's again like complicated. It's something similar that is actually an issue with X approach now that Elon Musk is behind the wheel. Is that those APIs are quite restricting. It's not possible to get all this data that was there before, and this is somewhat an issue. And with those, let's say, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Okay, let's stop there. I guess threads. With those platforms, there isn't any this public API that can be used to for verifying that users have completed some tasks. If the tasks are, let's say, on Facebook, there is no way, no easy way to check if some user has done the task. Of course, there are like scrapers that would make it possible, but it again like it's not personalized information. Let's say you get this from Facebook, you can get this likes count for a post, but you don't actually see behind it like who clicked the like button. So in that sense, it's complex.
Okay. Yeah, I take that for an answer.
But yeah, for sure. Like as I mentioned earlier, there is this link, or basically was this LinkedIn experiment. It didn't go well, but most likely there will be more experiments.
Okay. Yeah.
With different platforms.
That would be nice. But I understand it's at the moment it's too complex to introduce easily other social media. Yeah. Okay. And what advice would you give to a crypto startup looking to launch their first marketing campaign?
Well, come join Community Engagement Center, see what we have to offer, and let's get your project integrated and do some boosting for your Twitter content and growing your Telegram groups.
Yeah. Oh, excellent advice. I would say the same. Just join the CEC community and get your attention with all your tweets and then boost it from there. Can you discuss the role of content marketing in the cryptocurrency space, and how does your team approaches it?
Well, I guess this is like what CEC is trying to do is our main focus at the moment is more like on quantity and pushing the content, boosting it with those raw likes, retweets, and replies. Of course, we also at least try to emphasize that let's say when users are leaving comments that they would post something meaningful, that they would understand the context that they are writing their replies in. So I would say, like, briefly, this is what we try to do, and once we have the enough quantity, then we can like bring more focus on the quality.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Do you have recommendations to the members of the CEC Telegram group?
Well, go check the unclaimed bounties and do them all, and do them with attention to detail.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's especially I feel that the not the retweet, but the answer or the comment action, that's the most difficult sometimes for users, even including myself. Sometimes I have to really look. I have to. I must not forget to integrate those words that are checked on, of course, obviously. So it's sometimes difficult and say, "Oh, I've performed my task," but if you didn't include the words, the correct, then you haven't completed the task properly, so you won't get rewarded. What is your totally different question? What is your outlook on the Bitcoin price at the end of 2025?
Oh, that's like this. This is kind of a philosophical question. One second.
Yeah.
I will play around with my mic for a moment. Well, I still think that we will see some upside. Of course, this is not financial advice. I believe that this year we will hit the 100,000 mark. Although I understand that we are reaching the moment where those exponential growth periods are behind us, and getting some growth is also like actually really good, or like I would say positive, and I don't see that Bitcoin is going away. And yeah, I'm more optimistic about it, but most likely, those like getting multiple times the returns, those times are over, at least for Bitcoin. And also I think the like crypto market is maturing and getting more regulated, and big companies, big investors are either already here or right near the door to enter.
Yeah. Well, it's Well, it's nice to hear your outlook.
Yeah, but what is yourself like? Think about it. Like, is it like, are we going to see some growth or how it will?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a very big fan of Plan B, and he posts his ideas every month in a YouTube video. Um, and yeah, when I hear him talk about the developments of the Bitcoin price development, it's of course unpredictable because there's a lot of elements in the market that you can't predict. But his stock to flow model, I think, is despite what a lot of people think that it's not accurate enough, but I think it's pretty accurate. Seeing all this fluctuations in the market, and his stock to flow model is pretty spot on. So I bet for that and I root for that.
I agree. Like, it's a nice graph to see, to look at. It like exactly goes by the trend. Also, like, those like what's the word? Let it be.
Okay, well, we're both getting tired, I guess. It's getting late, but
it's been long.
we reached the final question. So, as planned, we will also look at the questions if there are any in the Telegram group. I'll just open the Telegram group, but since we're live, Hassan said the live stream is still going on. Yeah, that's correct. We're still live, but there haven't been any questions posted in the Community Engagement Center Telegram group.
So.
Then I'm looking at YouTube. Do we have any questions in YouTube except for the echoing issue? We don't have, and we have some greetings over there of Tamil and Critic and Ken Zooks and Robert to Range 949, Lala and Hassan and is still listening.
Yeah, awesome.
That's great. That's great. But there are no actual questions there. So now I will turn over to X and I will refresh my screen. So this is the tweet where you asked to react on with questions, and Hassan has the first reaction. He is saying, I'm enjoying the CEC platform and it works wonders, and a smiley face. My query is, why are there new bounties created and cancelled? This is done by certain partners. And finally, what are the new exciting features that's going to be implemented? And overall, I'm really happy and impressed with CEC. So thank you for that, Hassan. That's great. I think Allar already answered the question about the new features, so we can skip that. But can you maybe tell us a little bit more about creation and cancelling of bounties?
Yeah, and actually there is, how to say, the issue, and actually there was an issue with the system, which caused the user who ordered those, and actually it's because of those automation system. The automation system basically picked up everything that the account was posting. Well, it was doing what it was supposed to do. It was picking up all the posts, but the user was actually replying to some comments they had for their post just with, let's say, with a heart. And the system picked it up and thought that this kind of post should be boosted as well. Well, why not?
So the reply became also a bounty.
Yeah, basically the reply from the account became a bounty that got whatever X amount of likes, retweets, and replies as well. And the user noticed this, and as the system had already pulled up everything and started like shooting out all the bounties, the user didn't have another option, had to just start cancelling all the created bounties. So in a way it was like an issue with the system. After that I made some additions so that the users can actually define some specific keyword in the post. If this is present, then only this post is automatically boosted.
Yeah, the bounties are only created when you use the magic hashtag.
Or whatever you want to have there. Say Electra Protocol is great, then only those will be boosted.
Yeah, for instance. Yeah. No, that's great. Then on Twitter, the next reply is from Kenzu X. CEC team is always the best for me. Not only that, even a few days ago, I sent a medic and I made a mistake. Then I immediately asked for help from the team, and the team helped me with my problem quickly. Always the best for the CEC project team. Thanks, CEC. Oh, this is
just some
the user
thank you.
that caused the problem.
Yeah.
All right. The next question was posed. Thanks for the AMA session. What about CEC in the future? Will CEC create its own coin in the future? Oh, that's interesting.
I remember reading this question, and well, I have to tell that in 2023 December we were like this close of having CEC token.
Okay.
But
well, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
You can add it.
Well, you know that on Omnix app you can create your own token in 15 seconds, so it's not difficult.
Yes, it would be really simple to do it there. We already had those like test tokens on I think it was on Polygon, but why it did not happen? Well, one idea is that it would be like utility token. But I didn't see actually it bringing in any value. Of course, there was this idea also like you can, whoever is holding X amount of like CEC tokens will be getting some of the revenue. Let's say 10% is shared between all the holders, or maybe even more, who knows, just to make them hold them. But then again, like would it be enough for us to like what value would it bring to the system actually? Would it be something that okay, we are selling those tokens and we are like paying for, let's say, for me to develop the system further? Would we get that much of funds from selling it? Then shouldn't it be ICO? I don't want to do ICO. Should be some kind of different form, just creating liquidity pool, but then I should be actually putting in my money, locking it up, and maybe getting back the money. Would well, in short answer, no CEC token anytime soon.
No. Okay. Fair enough. Next question is by 27. I can't wait to watch this AMA. I hope everything goes smoothly, and I hope everyone who participates is always given good health so that this event runs smoothly. And then heart. Wishing you all the best for this amazing CEC platform. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. That's not really a question, but it's good wishes. Another question from Mo. Are you going to create a token CEC? Well, again, we just answered that.
Very good.
What the Electra Protocol Indonesia is asking, what is the CEC vision and mission in the future? Will there be many features in the CEC bot? Well, I think we already covered those questions. RMV has two questions. Number one is, what inspired the creation of the CEC platform, and how do you envision its impact on the future of decentralized technology and innovation? Well, how it was created is already explained by you in detail, but the future of decentralized technology and innovation is a new question.
It is, and actually, I like the idea of the decentralization. Well, most likely. Well, of course, I could be here if I didn't believe in Web3. Yeah. I could be riding the hype and trying to shovel the money in my pocket. But I actually like. I see that what Bitcoin was invented for, to have this decentralized banking system. Basically, you are your own bank.
You are your own bank. Yes.
You are keeping your funds yourself. You are doing it as best as you can. Yeah. This is the, like, how to say, negative side of being your own bank. You have to take care of security and be vigilant and knowledgeable, I guess. But yeah, this vision I fully support, like decentralization. I think everybody could benefit from banking being decentralized. Of course, there could be those centralized bodies as well. Well, CEC platform isn't decentralized. It's really centralized. It's centralized. I'm the basically the only person who makes the decisions. It's not up to the community. Of course, I listen to the feedback. In that sense, I see that there has to be some balance. And of course, maybe in the future there could be also this the kind of decentralization side to the CEC platform as well. But with current or current moment, it is what it is. But yeah, hope it answered. Hope RMV listened and is good with
RMV, you got a very extensive answer to your question. So he has another question, and that is, what are the main use cases or industries that the CEC platform aims to disrupt or innovate within?
Well, this goes again a bit to the topics we discussed already. Yeah,
I think so too.
We kind of want to disrupt social media, a new, or like it's not too new, this social finance sector. I would say that CEC is focusing on that and trying to push that part more, and I would say that social finance is something that we want to innovate, want to disrupt with the platform.
Yeah, excellent answer. Then we have Tamil Silvam, just a question that was posed just before we started, I think, 2 hours ago. And what would be the CEC future plan in the crypto world? Well, I think you discussed that also and shared it with us already. What your future is, you want to have a nice business out of it, and self-sustaining and self-supporting, and that you can fully focus on all your tasks.
Yeah, and actually we can add this previous answer part as well, like disrupting social finance sector, or like that part. And actually I saw that RMV had another question here as well.
You mean in the YouTube?
No, in the Twitter. If you click on the his question and then see he has some, or she, they.
Oh, in the replies.
Yeah.
Wait a moment.
Like a third question is there.
Well, maybe I'm doing it wrong.
I can read it as well.
Yeah.
So RMV asked, in what ways does the CEC platform prioritize user privacy and data security in the era of increasing digital surveillance? It's a really good question. Users' privacy and data security. Well, actually, I would say that the platform isn't collecting any data that isn't necessary, and most of this data that is necessary isn't going against the user's privacy. We kind of track the messages that the users send, but we don't persist these messages in the database nor in the system. And also the data that we have is although it can be tied to this, like let's say, unique user, but it doesn't say that the real person behind this user doesn't have another like account on the system. So we are not able to actually verify if one person has multiple accounts, and in a way it isn't what we actually expect. We don't want to have like those multi accounts, but if the user is able to have those multiple accounts differently, then I don't see an issue there as well. Like as the system sees different entities, and through the data that we have, we aren't able to recognize those instances where people are using multiple accounts. I would say that there isn't much of an issue with users' data and their privacy. So basically we try to keep as little as possible and as much as needed. So
okay,
hope it answers their question.
Yeah, thank you, Allar. Yeah, that's very nice. So we covered, let's see, YouTube, and we covered Telegram, and we covered X. So we're done on all the social media. There are currently no more questions in the YouTube channel, as I double check them if there were new questions, but there were not.
Very good.
Yeah, so now we can round up. I think it has been a pleasure to fire all these questions to you. It has become clear to me that you have big plans for the future, and CEC is a very, very good tool to boost your brand, so to speak, and that you can really have an exponential growth on your followers on X, formerly Twitter, and that the CEC bot is really helping with that very efficiently, and it is fun to ring or boost your coins to all your followers or in your community, and you can airdrop them, so to speak, to all your participants in your group. Leads me to the really final question: do you have anything else to share with your your and mine AMA viewers? I think there's still some left.
Yes,
and
actually
we still have 5 people watching now after 111 minutes.
it's been a long session, and
Yes.
now actually comes the exciting part for the viewers, yeah. And actually, based on what I see on Twitter, we have basically hope everyone in the viewers asked the questions, and now I would say that Genzo in Twitter you have hosting off handle. Please message me, or not me, the CEC account. Share your wallet address. I will send you some giveaway tokens, and the same goes for Hassan Essa. Thanks for the awesome questions. Send the details over Twitter or X. Send a direct message there. It should arrive. Also Mo, do the same. And then we have Electra Protocol Indonesia. If you are listening, make sure you send the message, otherwise you will not be getting the reward. Also RMB, Mindangz0731. If you are listening, send the details. Also Tamil Selvam, yeah. If you are here, send your wallet address. I will give you until okay, I can't say what time. Let's see, in 5 minutes if I receive the DM. Okay, there is Robert Rains asking who do I contact for rewards. You can send us a message on on Twitter. Send direct message to CEC app account. I will post it here for visibility in the chat as well. Let's go here. Okay.
Somebody's going crazy about OmniChat, but that's not what we're talking about today.
Well, We
focusing
have
on the CEC app, and you have to send a private message to Allar or to
yeah
that CEC app account,
yeah
and then Allar will read it as well.
yeah. And after that, if you have sent the message, it will. I'm not sure if I managed to do the transfer today or not, but it will definitely arrive. Can't send direct message.
All right. Well, I'm sure Allar will Allar will definitely consider the technicalities of it, and he'll give you
Okay.
some extra time.
As Robert isn't able to send direct message, uh, then another alternative is that you guys just uh, message me in Telegram at uh, in Telegram. Just send a message and we'll get it
All
sorted.
right. Okay. Well, thank you for handing out the rewards,
Mm-hmm.
Allar. Thank you for having this long AMA with me, and hopefully we'll be able to do it once more, and we'll gather some more questions for the future.
Yeah.
And I will thank all our viewers, and thank you for listening to us, and also engaging in asking questions to Allar.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you all, and see you next time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.